Okay, so we went live last night for like 4 hours basically. If you guys didn't watch the live video, you guys can go skip around through it so you guys can see what we did. Obviously, the engine and trans is in the car now. It's all mounted down. A lot of the hard stuff is done. I got to deal with that thing, so I got to rip that thing apart and save the body harness connectors so that way I can run it with the new harness that I got to create. But she is looking spicy. Intake manifold is just kind of chilling there. Got to take it back off because I got to put all the vacuum lines and fittings and everything on there. Make sure the O-rings and all that is all nice and set. Transmission feels nice. Obviously everything's dry, so I got to run to the parts store and get some fluids so that way it'll be ready to go whenever we get to that point. Decided we're going to relocate the fuse box as it's a very, very tight fit for everything to be right here in this corner. With the throttle body, there's no room for the TPS as it runs right into the actual power input for the fuse box. And then also, I think my power steering reservoir will more than likely fit. It's just a little cylinder, so that thing will fit there. But we've decided to go ahead and reroute the fuse box. So if you guys remember on the white Supra, I had my fuse box down underneath. So what I've decided I'm going to do is pull this fuse box out. All of this will come out in one little harness, and everything's got connectors on it, so it's not like a super big deal. Take the headlights off, take the fenders off, get the whole harness out, and then I'm going to put the fuse box under the headlight. There's plenty of room right here. The tube will come right out through here, and then everything underneath the headlight is going to be free. So I can actually put the fuse box right under the headlight, and hopefully I don't need it to access anything. Once it's out of the way, I'll be able to move a lot of stuff out of the way. So all of this can be put on the inside of the wheel well, and then the harness and everything, if I need it to, I can push it out here and plug stuff in like it's supposed to. Be just like the white Supra. All of this stuff here too as well. I got the ABS lines and everything, which is kind of alarming. I think this is for ABS as well. So I can run this stuff in the wheel well also. You guys can see that once it's up there, there's plenty of room back behind. Kind of hard to see, but plenty of room back behind here in the strut tower area for this stuff to actually run and be out of the engine bay, make it a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna order a actual delete kit for the ABS. It's like 350 bucks, but if I get it, then that's not gonna be there. It's gonna be less things to plug in. It needs to be done in order for this to be done properly. Man, one of the coolest things about the Supra is how easy it is to relocate and tuck your harness. Those little slit connectors, the holes, like see here, right here, these guys right here, these little ovals that these right here will slide into. Well, Toyota put some on the bottom side of the freaking fender rail here, and there is actually nothing that goes in them, period. So it's like kind of weird that they have them there, and it's exactly perfect for routing the harness through here and running it up inside the frame or the fender rail here, and they just plug right into those holes. So this is exactly what I do with the white Supra. I've got it over here and tucked, and because I have a pipe here, I have modified this plastic piece right here, which is still in the factory location, so everything is back factory all the way up to here. And then this guy right here, which normally would have taken a turn just like that, went up to the fuse box. I cut it so that way we can go the other direction with it. Okay, so I went through a situation here. Turns out the fuel rail and everything is completely in the way of my $80 Haltech sensor. So yeah, went through some not good stuff. All right, so that guy's trash. So I ended up ordering a black sensor. So it's a lot shorter, very much shorter. Now everything clears. We're all good. Cam sensor's in. Real tiny guy back there. I am working on the intercooler piping. I got this side done. Unfortunately, there's going to be 2 couplers. Well, 3 if you count the turbo. So 3 couplers. This 2-piece pipe. Only because this is anodized aluminum. They never said it was anodized aluminum, so it welds like absolute poop, and I don't want to deal with all the grinding it off. This side, it's just about there. It's connected, but since this intake and stuff is a little bit different from the one that was on there, the Virtual Works one, I'm going to have to chop a little bit of this off here so that way it can actually line up. Now all I got to do is remove a little bit off the end here, and then it should fall down. We've got plenty of room right here for it to fall right down into place, but it runs into the throttle body, so there's not really much room. Got the downpipe mocked up here, and then really it's just connecting to the bottom of the car, which is not too big of a deal. She looks real nice and pretty downpipe there. Soon, this freaking welding stuff will be all finished. Major update. Downpipe is completely finished. All the piping is finished. Obviously, there's no clamps or anything on there yet. We are going to be running the harness. Doing the harness right now as we speak. Got most of the wiring and stuff ran. The cam and crank sensor, which is like some of the most important thing, I got them tied in together, going to a sensor ground, so they will be separate on their own. And then the cam sensor specifically, which is the black cherry sensor, which I do have nice and set up right here. It is all heat shrinked and everything with a 3-pin Deutz connector. Will all be ran, and a separate 5-volt for the sensor dedicated. So that sensor in particular has to have a 5-volt signal to be powered, and it's not the same as the crank sensor, the stock sensors on the JZ, which are just a basic 2-pin. So we've got almost everything pinned up on the ECU. This freaking wiring stuff is absolutely so tedious. I know that it was a pain in the butt when I did the white Supra, only because I was trying to get air conditioning and all that stuff to work. So there's just so much less stuff that I have to worry about doing this harness versus the other one. I'm borderline about to be able to get rid of this complete connector here. One of these, this 8-pin, which is just... Actually, it's just one single lone wire, which I may or may not use. We'll see. I think I could use it for, I don't know. I don't know if it's a battery positive switched or if it is a constant. If it's switched, then I can use it for the regulator on the alternator, but I don't really know if it's switched or not, and I don't have the battery power and everything all hooked up right now. So if it's switched, which it might very well be, then I could use it for the alternator regulator, and I could just have the alternator being powered by its own connector separate from the engine. So the alternator would have the sensor wire and then the voltage regulator wire, which could actually just go straight to the fuse box, and it would be its own little harness, which would be great. And actually, I might see if that's actually the thing. Actually one more freaking time. Good God, and I'm being self-conscious now. To make sure I don't say that anymore. Actually, oh my God, actually. Oh, I didn't want to film this all from scratch because this is super tedious and it takes a freaking long time. But I did want to show you guys how I shield the wires and then how I make them look, so I guess you could say, professional. Because that is basically what Haltech does with their harnesses, is they have flying leads where everything explodes out of the one main harness, which is what's coming out of the firewall over there. And I do have some basic stuff coming out of here also. So here's transmission and the ground for the transmission. We have boost controller and the wideband. So these are separate. I'm running these away from the engine harness because I didn't want to fill this completely up. So everything that's just basic engine related, anything that's connected directly to the engine, the actual long block is here. It's in this shielding there. Everything else is just accessories and extras, you could say. This is what I do. This is the process that I take. These are cut to length already. I basically run everything as a full flying lead, and I don't cut any of the wires until I have the rear of the harness connected to the ECU set inside the cabin where I want it to be, and then I'll run everything outside the front of the car, and then everything will just get cut to length as I'm there. So here we go. This is main 12 volt for one of the injectors. This is injector number 1. The other 5 injectors are cut, finished, already done, pinned. So this one here will go to this injector up here, but from the underneath. So everything's going to be 100% tucked. You You can see this looks like a rat's nest over here, and you will have this. This is what happens whenever you start from one wire and you end up with a bunch. Once this is all finished though, you're not going to see any of the wiring. It's all going to be nice and tucked. It's going to be very pretty. Anyways, I've got this one cut to length. You can see I've held it out over here where it's going to be coming out of the end of the harness and then going straight. You can see how it's even. If you were to pull it straight out this way, you would have uneven. It'd be like that. So you want to make sure you're seeing the final picture here on what you're gonna do. So this, I've got them a little bit longer. Typically, if you want to do this the proper way or do it, make sure you're 100% sure, you will go from underneath and you'll pull it up to the top. And you'll pull it up out from between one of the runners here, and you'll be like, okay, that's about enough, and then you'll cut the rest of it off. Then you'll have your cut wires. I've done this a couple times, so I do know what I'm doing. So I cut it on the top of the plenum just because it's a lot less time. Okay, so the next thing you will do is you will be using your shielding. So I do have this shielding right here that is not split loom. Come here, Torch. Stop that. So this isn't split. The split loom stuff tries to separate all the time. So this is actually just the expandable kind. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to come up right here where the joint of the wire is. I'm going to hold it here, and I'm going to pull it to the end-ish, and we will cut it right at the end of the wire. So we'll flip this up, and if you cut it with side cutters, it gives you a nice perfect cut. And then before you let these go, if you guys are using this stuff, make sure you torch the ends of them because they will unravel. This is our shielding. So I'm going to take these wires here. I'm going to run it into the beginning of the shielding. You might have to break it up a little bit since you just melted the nylon. And you'll shove it in there. And then basically you're going to caterpillar it. You're going to squeeze it, and then it's going to expand out. So you can capture a whole bunch in one finger, and then you can watch it shoot down the wiring. This is how you're going to do every single thing, and you don't want to put connectors on any of these wiring, on any of these wire ends until this whole process is finished for the entire, well, at least for the dead ends. Meaning these wires right here are going to have one goal, and they are going to be going to the injectors. So that's the only job that these are to do. So there's not going to be like a Y union coming in. And grab yourself a piece of heat shrink. You'll slide it over the end here. Just slide it down. I like to put the heat shrink on the end. So now you've got your two ends here. We're gonna chop off just a little bit of the ends. You don't want a lot of wiring exposed. The crimps aren't a huge deal. Okay, so here we go. Just throw these guys on here. Alright. And then we'll throw these. These are the crimp ends, so you can crimp these however you want, but I do suggest using a proper crimp tool when you're going to do these. Alright, and just like that, you got a nice proper crimp. Take the next one, just like that. Nice proper crimp. And then you will take these guys and slide them into your connector. Make sure you're doing it the correct way. You'll hear the click. Click. And then you'll take your shielding. You'll run it about back to the front. You don't have to have the shielding run all the way up to the connector because you have the heat shrink that can make up the difference. So right here, I've got my shielding a little bit inside here, which I'm actually going to take a little bit out of the shielding or out of the heat shrink and slide the harness, slide the loom back down over the harness, and then we've got this heat shrink. will lightly heat it up. Watch her shrink up. Get both sides. And there you go. There's your connector. Now, once you get a bunch of them all finished up, and then you'll have a nice loom of connectors. So all the injectors are finished here, and you can see what I mean. Here's a union. I've got this heat shrink here that I put on before I did any of this. Make sure you're planning ahead. And all of this is pushed back. Once everything is all finished on the front here, I'm gonna pull this forward. This is going to slide over all of this. It's gonna come all the way up to this. This is my ignition coil. This is actually this is from the ECU, so this is gonna send signal to the coils to fire. But this is gonna slide all the way over this. It's gonna be like this at the very end, once it's all finished. The freaking thing is finally finished. Now, the only thing that I've got left is the coils. I do have these auxiliaries right here. These are for analog in. They're actually for the pressure sensors. I don't want to use these. They sent me some pigtails. I don't want to crimp stuff anymore. I want to get some that I can crimp myself and pin myself. So I'm gonna order some connectors for those so I can have fuel pressure and then oil pressure. But once I have those connectors, that will be everything. I've got my one lone trigger for my fans, so whenever I get my relays, I'll have the fans going. And then I have another lone guy, where you at? Which is my 12 volt, there it is. This will trigger 2 relays for battery constant to go to the coils. Now I'll have the battery constant probably coming from the coils or directly from the fuse box actually. I may have it come with the starter. So I'll have the main 12 volt that will come from the fuse box. And, oh wait, I can just run ones from the starter. I use the starter as a mount point, essentially. Maybe that might not be a good idea. I'll think about it when we get there. I got the coils left to do, and then it'll be ready to set up a bass tune, put some fluids in it, and then she's cooking. We're ready. I want to give you guys a little bit of an update here. I got the wiring harness all finished up. You guys can see now, I like all the injectors and everything, my coils. Everything is very nice and tight. Very beautiful setup. Unfortunately, there's a couple issues that I've come across, and one of them being that my ECU Master Black has died. Now, I don't exactly know the reason why it died, but it is dead, and this connector smells like burned electronics. The Supra is all together, and unfortunately the ECU died, so we cannot even do anything. So it looks great, looks fantastic, but unfortunately we are just at a standstill at the moment. So as soon as we get to where the car will run, then I will put out an update for you guys. But for now, look how beautiful that engine is. And it's going to be literally 0 time. You guys are going to see it in the next clip probably.
Okay, the Supra is now officially moving under its own power. Heck yeah, man. Oh, it sounds... Oh, that sounds so good. Oh, man. That sounds like pure JDM.
Oh my god, that sounds like an actual Supra.
Yep.
Did you hear it?
Uh-huh.
Let's go, baby!
That sounds so good.
Dude, it is incredible. That sounds incredible. How's my temps?
199. AFR's a little fat. We obviously haven't done anything with the tune yet, really, other than just starting it up and making it run.
What's that?
I don't know. Sounds like some rubbing or scraping. It's only like when it's under a load, because I don't hear it when you're just moving.
Take a pull over here and just take a gander right quick. Don't want to be too far down, you know. Make sure we're all good.
Do your hazards work?
None of my lights are
At least in the back.
choo-choos. The choo-choos are literally way harder than the other ones.
Yeah, it is. Maybe it's just because you don't have the T51R mod.
Yeah, dude, this car is a million times better already.
Oh, it's insane.
Dude, it sounds so good. That is the sound. Oh, it's the turbo spooling up.
That's not what it sounded like before, though. But it might be. Maybe I'm just hearing a little...
Dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro, it sounds insane. Like, that is Supra sound all day.
Yes.
Also, the fact that all I did was just adjust the map a little bit and it's this drivable.
Yeah. JZ power, baby.
Bro, that is the RabidJZ tune. It's not even
No
close to
fuss
that.
at all.
I know, dude. Also, it feels so incredibly smooth. Like between shifts.
Yeah, and it's not missing a beat.
No, not at all. Let me say
Oh, and you still got that one cracked spark plug.
Oh, I do. I forgot all about that. All right, so I was hitting a little bit of boost. And I gotta put my phone down.
No turn signal.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a front end, so. Hitting a little bit of boost just a little bit ago, and I kind of blew the intercooler pipe off the car. So, yeah, I lost a coupler only because it got dragged. I remember last year when I did the same thing in the white Supra and blew the whole pipe off the car, and I drug it 10 foot, and basically half the pipe disappeared. So we're doing pretty good in the fact that the piping is still in one piece. So car did very well on its first voyage and actually is doing spectacular. Like, its temps good and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's coming down.
All right, so we're cooking. I mean, in the good way, not in the bad way.
And your intercooler is really good. Like, we've been going fairly slow and it's not heat soaking.
I would be worried under boost.
I guess I'm used to mine. Mine is trash. And it heat soaks just cruising.
Yeah, I'd say yours is definitely, you need an upgrade for sure. But we're taking this thing home and finally gonna get to finish this video off. The thing sounds phenomenal. It is absolutely incredible. It's everything I could have asked for. It's acting up a little bit. It might be because it's low on fuel or something. We'll see. We're gonna have to do some checking over, make sure she's not leaking, burning, or rubbing anything, and make sure it's all good to go. And then I guess we'll just button everything up later on and get it all prettied up. Oh man. Well guys, there it is. Supra made a freaking nice voyage. Here's the intercooler pipe we blew off. Lost that coupler and that piping there. But I already got myself set back up here. she's freaking good to go, man. We just gotta get these fans all going. Gotta just get it all the rest of the way prettied up. Get my throttle cable ordered, and the Supra is going to be back on the road. Cannot wait to get all these parts back on, man. Get the hood back on top of the 240 and go clean it. She looks spectacular and she sounds incredible. But there we go. That is the long-running video of this here video. Please drop a freaking like. It helps get the videos out. I freaking hope you guys are as excited as I am, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.